Hey guys, hello, can you hear me? PDM's grandma got on and said, do not ever take the word out of context. That's what she said just now. She said, if your car breaks down on the highway and you do not have a way to get home and you call um, customer support to ask for a ride home, she said, you never take the word of God out of context. So I'm going to say this again because I want to make some points as Tina, because I don't want to ever disrespect the word of God. So the message was coming from Mark 6, Mark's of the ministry 6. Now, we all know a Guantanamo detainee is in Cuba. At Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, they supposedly closed the facility. I don't know if they did it or not. Our calls are coming in from an international location, the Muslim country location. Now, I created a whole diagram for you so you can understand 0 to 10, the concept of 0 to 10, right? Because you can work, I could work for the United Nations. I don't have to work for the United States. I could be a representative from the United Nations who does rescue, okay? But the point is, if I use the Bible as my spiritual tool of communication so that I keep information classified amongst the UN or the United States or whatever country I'm acting on behalf. If I'm acting on behalf of Sudan, Somalia, Egypt, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and Israel, I'm keeping this confidential. But I never want to misquote the scriptures because what happens is it changes the integrity of the rescue of the health. Now, he has on a mask on his face that's the US. Can you let them see your mask? Can you just look? Please, can you just come in? I want you to see this guy. He's got on a blue jacket. Say hi. That's nice, right? Thank you. You got on military pants, huh? It's just YouTube. Yeah, just random people. I thought he had on military pants, right? And a US flag on his face, but that's the mask. Yeah, thank you. He has on a blue, he wants to say something. What do you want to say? You have to, they can't hear you. You have to come over. He wants to say something. His hat says McGregor, and he has on military pants. He has on a blue jacket like Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan. He has on blue shoes like he's Ethiopian, you know. But he has a U.S. mask. Why do you want to mask your face with a U.S. flag? Because you're not going to use Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala. That's Bin Laden. He wants to be a U.S. service person. Okay. So thanks for that contribution. Yeah. So the point that I make, that's he looks like Joe Berkeley, the guy in the background. He's a lawyer. The point that no, because a lot of people, I just heard an interjection. A lot of people don't like Joseph Alexander. You know why people don't like Joseph Alexander? He's an international lawyer. He represents people in human rights violations around the world. He spent 1993 through about 1996 in Thailand after he graduated from Harvard Law. When you go and take these international cases, you have to be careful because you could be tried yourself. I'm not saying that Joe's being tried, but I'm saying, DL Piper, DL Piper and places like that. There's nothing you can do. You can't bring your case to the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court to try your case in the United States jurisdiction. You're a detainee in a Muslim country. The only thing that's going to get you out of there, if you ever find yourself as a detainee in a Muslim country, I know because as a Muslim or a Christian, I have personally been detained in Europe, not for stuff I did, but for stuff that other people with me. You can ride with Germans, Soviet Germans, Russians. Um, you can ride with Soviet Germans, Russians, Poles, because they're from Warsaw, Poland. So when Soviet, you got to understand what I'm saying. When the Soviet Union dissolved, okay, I don't know how to draw it on a map, but they had Soviet Germany. The Soviet Germanies, right? They went to, many of them, they split. They went to Ukraine or they went to Russia, okay, which was USSR, okay. After they did that, they tried to get legitimacy because we're just going to put the West right here off to the side, right? They had the factor of the communism coming from Soviet Germany, even Germany. So they got ID from here and then they had to go to Israel. The problem with them going to Israel is that they still would be known as Russian Jews. The Knesset wanted to call them Russian Jews. So let's just say, so the Ukrainians, they went through as Warsaw Jews, okay? Because they had to convert. And then these went through as Russian Jews. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is so Jews. I would be an Ethiopian, Somalian, Sudan, Somali, more like a Mogadishu Jew if I was to go to Israel because they were, if they didn't want to give me Palestinian designation, which they would not do because you can't get into the Knesset Israel, which is a British mandate now, okay, because of, so you got to understand what's going on. So I would have to be a blue Jew. So we all come from Africa, okay? Like I would come from Africa, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, you know? Okay, so this is where I would come from. So everybody's trying to get to the West. So in order for you to get to the West, you're going to have to brand yourself as a Jew, okay? When we say West, we're talking about North America, okay? Everybody's trying to get to North America. I came in from Africa. These white Russians, they came from Soviet Germany. Some of them, Ron Reaper came from Soviet Germany. But like Trump, his family's Ukrainian, Putin's family's Russian, Anipova is Russian. Then they go to Israel, they become Warsaw Jews. And then they come over and then they become Russian Jews and they come over. So Reaper's family would have been Russian Jews and come over. And like the others would have been Warsaw Jews and come over. Then they take power in the US, right? So me, I got a ride. So I would come from the UN India area, India, Pakistan, Bangla area, but I also would have the SUD, the Africa, Eritrea, Ethiopian, Somalia, Sudan. So this is my region here. So when I come up to Israel, we know that I can't live in Israel as a Palestinian, so I come to the West as this. So now, what's your point? My point is that Islam has a scale of 0 to 10, like this, 0 to 10. Where are you going? You're leaving? He kicked you out? Why are you leaving? You're not logging out? Okay, so let me tell you about Islam, because this is important when you do rescue. Islam has a scale of 0 to 10, and I got to say this quickly. Okay, so 0 to 10 is pretty much where your country would fall um, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really, when you hit the 5 mark, it doesn't matter where you're from on the scale of Islam. Okay, so this is what we have here. India would be like the one of the 0 to 10. You say, what's the 0 to 10? It's the Muslim ratio. Okay, why is the Muslim ratio so important? The Muslim ratio, the Islam, we don't want to say Muslim, let's call it the Islam ratio. The Islam ratio, right? Because we want to know how pure is your Islam, because however pure your Islam is, that's how pure your governance is with regard to your theocracy, right? That's going to govern your behavior. I should be able to look at you and know, does you have ties in India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan? Pakistan would actually be closer to a 3. I'm going to put Pakistan and Indonesia. Okay, Pakistan and Indonesia would be here, Bangladesh too. Bangladesh is actually, Bangladesh could be between, Bangla could be between 3 and 5. Okay, so this does not mean this is 1 to 10, but this is the scale here. 1, 2. I'm gonna draw this better for you. Okay, now if you're out here somewhere 6 to 10, you're Islam. You're in Islam. You were born in Islam. Even really 5, you could be born in Islam, right? Your father could be born a Muslim. That's pretty much what that means. Okay, so you say, well, where are Russian Muslims? Russian Muslims are going to fall somewhere between 3 and 5 as well, depending on if they're terrorists. If they're a terrorist, they're going to probably peak at 5 and try to cross into some type of Muslim country to exercise their extremism. They'll probably join a camp, so on and so forth. So PDM was saying, or the grandma was saying, uh, do not ever change the word. Do not ever change the word, because when you are a UN worker dealing with the Muslim ratio, they need to know they're used to talking about Islam with regard to the 0 to 10 ratio. They don't need you changing it. Don't change it. Now, I showed you the guy who had the American mask. He had the American mask, not the American mosque, the American mask. What does that mean? So, when you're going backwards, a Western mask is good in Africa and in certain parts of Northeast Africa. A Western mask is hated 6 through 10 in in Indian Aryan masking. So I'm trying to tell you, it's hard to explain. I'm gonna have to write it down. I'm gonna have to listen to this video and write it down. So you have 3 types. You have Asian, you have Indo, you have African, and then you have European base. And I don't want to get over. These are the kinds of peoples in the world. You have Asians, Indos, Africans, and Europeans, right? So it depends on the direction you're going when you're sailing or flying, right? If you're an Asian, let's put it like this, 0 to 10, okay? If you're going out west, let's make it like this, Western and Eastern, and this middle will be 5. If you're going out west, then your Islam level is close to 0. 5 is in the middle, and Eastern is out this way. Generally, everything Indo is 5, right? Some Asian, everything Asian, and everything Russian. This is the Muslim Islam meter. Islam meter. They use this for immigration purposes. This is the Islam meter. when you see this Islam meter, everything Indo, Asian, and Russian is around a 5. When you're going in this direction, you can't come from a Western perspective. When you're going back, when you're coming this way, you got to soften with something here or something white. Russians have to soften with Ukraine, Warsaw, mostly. These are the points of inspection. So Russians, if they're not going to do the Islam entrance to the West, they have to soften with Ukraine and Russian. I mean Poland. Okay? Let me put Poland right here. Poland. Take Warsaw off. Warsaw is just a place where they Ukraine is just the place where they document. It's like the seat of the government. So if they're white, they usually legitimize in Israel. But because Israel was taken over by the Knesset, which is a British mandate, which is the result of a British mandate. Okay, the Knesset is a British mandate parliament. It's a British parliament that was created by. Look at this. They tried to put Russia on my forehead. It's a British parliament that was created by um, Europe, white Europe, to control um, Israel, because their fear is that Israel will come under power of the Muslim entity, like something so legitimate, so awesome that I am a member of is the PLO. It used to be the PLO. Right now, it's the Palestinian organization. They dropped the whole liberation concept because they didn't want it to look like, oh, militia. So they dropped the liberation aspect of it, but it's Palestinian organization. And so the Knesset was formed by the British mandate. British mandate was a law. It's a book law. You can find it on Google. It talks about the British mandate. They had a British mandate for Egypt, which is why for a period of time the Sinai came into play. But President Sisi, he was like, oh, hell no, they ain't taking over this part. So, um, but listen, you got to understand what I was saying about. So if you're white coming from the West, you could put on Ukraine, Russia, and Israel to get out of the West and move east. You got to be careful with the Israel card because it is a British mandate. Because you can't get back into Israel if you've been to the Ukraine, if you make reference to Russia, or if you make reference to any Muslim country, any theocratic country, because it's now a British mandate. It was the same when I was in Palestine, as a kid. So now you have to understand on the Muslim scale, the Muslim, they do immigration by Islam, just like they do by Christianity. So when you go to the mosque, they learn about you. Is this a Western spy, or is this a number 5 Indo-Aryan or Asian Muslim, or is this a 5 to 10? Now, generally, most people who do a lot of travel are not going to be a 5 to 10 unless you're coming with a family, unless you have a family that keeps you strong, unless you're working. You're not going to be a 5 to 10, or unless you're like an imam or something, a priest, or unless you're a terrorist. To be a 10 in the West, come on. To be a devout Jew in the United States, orthodoxy, not in the US. If you're a devout Jew, you're going to be traveling to Israel for the diaspora return. Come on. Anything you're devout, if you're a devout Muslim, you're going to be traveling to Hajj. Come on. I don't care what kind of race you are. If you're a 5 to 10 Muslim, you're going to the mosque every day religiously, and you're judgmental of other people. These kind of people, which they would put me in the category of get raped, get violated, they threaten you. These white people don't want to let you go, and these people don't want to let you in. Because when they look at you, you have signs of 5 or above to the Muslim community. And when the others look at you 5 below, you have signs of Westernism or something else. Usually, somebody like me, they try to explain it as Russian. But the reason they can't explain me as Russia is because I don't have any strong ties to the Ukraine or Russia. So you have to understand every country has an entry point. So in Russia, Moscow would be that place if you're not from Moscow. If you're from Moscow or if you're from Russia, then you're coming in somewhere else. A guaranteed entry for Russians. If you show up at that border, you're Russian. Because they do that. It's so vast. The same with China. Honey, if I flew into Mako, I'm Chinese. If I fly into North Korean complex, I'm North Korean. Do you know how many people will never fly into North Korean complex? Come on. That's like if I fly into Islamabad, I'm a Muslim. If I go to India and I fly into Hyderabad, guess what? Sheikh is an Indian Muslim because certain places have certain points. So I'm telling you, beep, beep, beep. If you came from Warsaw, you're Polish, no doubt. If you came from the USSR, you're a Soviet, not a Russian. Okay? If you came from Moscow, if you came through Moscow, you're not Russian. If the only place in Russia you know of is Moscow, you're not Russian. If you don't know what the capital of Ukraine is, you're not Ukrainian. Somebody said, finish what you're saying about 5 to 10. Oh, okay. So if I'm a 5 to 10 Muslim and I want to come to America, I have to soften. I already know I can't get legitimacy from Israel. And I probably can't get it from any country in Asia unless it's Indonesia. If I come from Jakarta, I'm an Indonesian. No, if I come from Jakarta, I'm not in Indonesia. If I come from Kuala Lumpur, I'm an Indonesian. If I come from the seat of the Knesset, I'm a Brit. If you come from Paris, you're not French. If you come from Guadron, you could be French. Okay, so these are the things they know. These are the things they know. Now, you said talk about coming to the U.S. From the East. Yeah, you have to come as yourself. You have to come as yourself. Like you know, they just have certain things that certain people do because there's nothing else you could become. The only thing you can do, I have seen a lot of 10 Muslims, 8, 9, and 10 try to come as Indians or Pakistanis because it's about how you think, right? So I'm going to try to help you understand it in these terms. So, say I'm a South African. Say, first of all, you can look at my skin, but if you look at my skin and you say she has skin like an Indian, right? She has skin like an Indian. I don't have skin like a South African, and I don't have skin like an Asian. Hey, guy, how you doing? Come say hi. You got to come look over here. Just come step over. They can't see you. I don't have skin like a South African. Hi, what's up? It's not about complexion, it's about the type of skin. Why does that matter? Because of the weather. Your skin matches the weather. So I'm probably not going to live in a cold climate either. Because look how thin my skin is. Look at the skin on my face. It's too thin for me to live in Korea. It's too thin. It's like dogs and cats. You can tell where a dog and a cat is from because the thickness of their skin. Look at my hair. My hair, I'm not talking about how the CIA or somebody will try to color it and change it. I'm talking about look at even when my hair is in an afro, I'm not an Asian. I'm not coming from the birthplace of a jungle of your skin matters. Look at your hands because you're born to be a hunter and a gatherer in your world. So your skin is going to match what protection you need. Okay? So they judge you on your skin. They judge you on the type of skin you have. Now, what kind of skin do I have? Look at my skin. Even when it's white. Some say, well, you have kind of marshmallow Asian skin. No, I kind of have like white skin, but I don't have white skin either because there's something going on like Sri Lankan. Um, there's something like Sri Lankan, Guyanese, something Indian, something like that, you know, because the skin is not consistent with fighting bears, enduring -11 weather. My skin is more conducive for um, a sandstorm. When does your skin need to be thick and when does it need to be thin? And when do you have a fatty layer underneath? And when do you have less of a fatty layer? Your body type, do you tread mountains? Do you have legs like an ox? This is why when people are trying to make your legs skinny, they're violating you. Stop doing that to me. I need my leg strength. I need my butt strength. I need my stomach flat. Stop trying to make me into you. If it's your thing to run from reindeer, it may not be my thing to run from reindeer. So, in my natural habitat, I'm going to need to be who I need to be. Not only that, my skin is working with my food. You know, I look like I could be from France, from the south of France, from North Africa, in a very arid place, a Bedouin, okay, or an Indian. So, people put on masks to move around. A 5 through 10 Muslim who is not um, A 5 through 10 Muslim will become an Indian or will become a Pakistani. Remember, I told you it's about your mindset? Now I'm going to say something, don't be offended. If I'm a 10 Muslim, say from an emirate, and I show up in the US and they say, "Where are you from?" I say, "Oh, I'm from Pakistan." They say, "You from Pakistan?" Yeah. Because in my mind, I don't have a problem with Pakistan. I know Pakistan is on a lower Muslim meter than me. I'm royal and I'm Islamic royal. So Pakistan to me is like um, the Tea Party. The Tea Party. So you're not offended by the Tea Party, are you? They don't have no power to you, right? I'm the Tea Party. And you're in the West looking at me like she said she's from Pakistan. You're afraid of Pakistan, right? So say I come from North Korea, and you say, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia." And you're looking at me, and you're like, "You're from Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur. What are you doing here?" And I'm thinking, fishing. I work on a fishing boat because you're from Korea, and to you, being from Indonesia is no big deal. Now, for me, right? Say I'm from India. If you are born in India or you have any family members from India, it is a cardinal sin if you say that you, hi, I'm sorry, I are from Pakistan. Why in the world would you tell somebody you are from Pakistan? If you are from India and you say that you are from Pakistan, they will kill you. And if you are from Pakistan and you say, "Oh, I'm from India," guess what? Pakistanis are not as violent as Indians. She says she's a Pakistani. She said that because she's a Pakistani. But it's true. How do you think it's not true? Of course, Indians are more violent than Pakistanis because you want to kill me now for saying that. You want to make me a bad person because I said that Indians are worse than Pakistanis, and you are because if you wanted to kill my son because he's blacky, it's personal. It's personal to them. They won't even let you in the consulate. It's a personal thing for them, and I don't like that. You know why that's hypocritical? Because East Pakistan used to be near Sri Lanka and used to be in southern India. So how can somebody who is Indian say they are not mixed with Pakistani? I want everybody in India to have a DNA test. This is why I like the conversation between the Pakistani general and Mr. Prasad because they were dialoguing and Mr. Prasad he felt like this guy can be my son. I don't want to make him feel some kind of way like I'm trying to treat Pakistanis different. I understand. They personally choose to have conversation with the guy because they knew that the guy was kind of feeling kind of disfranchised. Or you're over here singing Bulatiki, ini ini mane mo. But then you want to sound like I want coffee, tea, and lemon too. Well, how can you have them both? Now you want to say I am a dark skinned Pakistani? You want to try to make Pakistanis white like? So You're on the borderline. You're on the borderline. And most people like you can't even live in the country because you're not going to live in the India and you're not going to live in the Pakistan. One of the things I'm listening to is the way that you're talking. If you're talking fast, I'm going to say you're Pakistani. It's just common knowledge to me. When I'm talking to you and you're moving your head gestures and all these things you're saying, these are the kind of things I'm saying too. Oh, but you look like you could be from the Emirates. Because we have to justify all of the kinds of things. I want to say how you practice your Islam. Yeah, she should put a guard on her head and she should try to be a Muslim from the Emirates. You're the only white people in America who do not know about Muslims. Now she wants to be like Bin Laden. So you can't win with these people. So you might as well stay in the West. And if you stay in the West, they're going to be racist too. So 5 to 10. So sometimes when you are a Muslim and they cannot explain you're black, or they think that coming out of the West to be Bin Laden relative is too controversial, they'll say, they'll give you some teeth and say, can you speak Jamaican? They want to make you speak Jamaican. Like now I'm trying to speak when I get to put my lips on so I can speak Jamaican. And but I'm not a Jamaican because my cheekbones don't even let me do it right on my nose. Okay, so now I'm borderline Haitian, and that would make more sense for me for the black because you can speak Egypt and get into, or you can speak French and get into Egypt as well. So all of these things are important when you're looking at the barometer. If I were to guess about myself, I would put myself between Pakistan and the Emirates. Definitely someplace there, or someplace in East Africa, which is where I would probably have the most success. So anyway, I started this video and I was telling you about how Islam judges your culture and who you are by your worship. And you need to make sure that if you're reading the Bible or if you're reading the Quran, that you are true and authentic. Because, like she said, don't change it. If you change it, then what's going to happen is you're going to skew the messages, so on and so forth. I have to get out of here because I have to do something regarding my housing. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you. I have some work to later today. I will try to get that on for you. God bless you. All right, bye.